So Essendon has selected 2 more players in the 2025 draft for a total of 5 players that we've walked away from with this draft. The 2 players that we've picked from night 2 have been Max Kondogianis, and we've also picked our academy prospect Hussein Alchar, which is pretty exciting to get one of the academy players. Like I said, I wasn't really fussed. My belief is you just pick the best players available. If they think he's the best player available, whether he's in the academy or not, then that's what we should be doing. But, you know, it's kind of funny. If someone had told me before the draft that we would have one academy prospect playing for us and the other not, I would have thought, oh, that's not a surprise. It's probably pretty much expected. But I would have been almost certain that the academy prospect playing would have been Swade, and Al-Achkar probably wouldn't. But as it is, Swade is not playing for the Bombers. He is at Fremantle, and Hussein Al-Achkar will be at the Bombers. So we're going to have a bit of a look at both those players. Before we do, I'm just going to have a bit of a snapshot at Essendon's list because I think it's important to have a look at this. So you're allowed no more than 44 players on the list. So we currently have 36 players on the primary list. We have 6 Category A rookies, that's 42, and we have 1 Category B rookie, that's Jaden Nguyen, which brings it up to 43. So you're allowed to have another Category B rookie. You can have a second Category B rookie, which would bring it up to 44, or you can add another player to the primary list. You can have no more than 38 on the primary list. So I'm probably thinking at this stage they don't have another Category B rookie, and they probably add a player through the SSP process. Could be Setterfield, could be someone else, something like that. But that's probably how I imagine what's going to happen. I just thought I'd give a bit of an update on what the list is looking like. As for the picks, we're going to have a look at Hussein Al-Achkar first. I think this one actually does make sense, not just from an academy point of view, but just from a logical point of view. We picked basically three midfielders with the first pick of the on the first night of the draft. I'm counting Farrow as a midfielder, even though he's technically like kind of a backman, halfback flanker. He's going to play midfield, during his career, and the other two, Roby and Sharp, of course, are, players that can play in the midfield as well. And Max Kondogianis is a backman. We're going to get to him later. But we did need that small forward. I think it was absolutely vital. There was talk of us getting Doveston. That obviously didn't happen, and I think it's probably the correct decision in the end because we did. If Sharp was still available, you're obligated, obviously, to go for Dyson Sharp. We've lost Menzies. We've lost Oscar Smart. We've lost Alwyn Davey. Gresham and Guelphy are not really long-term answers to any of our problems, let's face it. So we've really only just got Kako down there. So to me, it was absolutely vital, very important that we selected for need and we selected a small forward. And Hussein Al-Achkar is that small forward. Absolutely important that we did shore up that position. He's a very, very cagey player. He knows how to find the goals. He's got brilliant goal sense, and that's really what we want. He did have some issues during the year with accuracy, but look, I'm not really worried about that. You work on that. He's got good short-term speed and physicality. He's kind of a nuggety little player because he's built quite low to the ground, as so many good small forwards are. They always seem to be built low to the ground. Quick acceleration and power because he's only 171 centimetres tall, so he's not tall. So he needs to have that quick acceleration and power to get that little small frame moving. So he's got that ability to evade defenders, and he's really good at just crumbing the ball, and he's efficient. He doesn't get much of the ball, but he seemed to generate a lot of scores. I went and watched him play down at Werribee, which is where I live down there when he was playing down there, and he's just finds a way to just get scoreboard opportunities. So he's got good goal sense, innate finishing ability. He's pretty resilient because he can bounce back from quiet periods and find the goals again. And he's able to rotate forward. He's not really capable of going into the midfield, although he probably could, but he's not really known for that right now. But that's an area perhaps for growth. He probably needs to add some defensive pressure to his game. That's probably not what he's known for. He's not particularly known for having a lot of endurance either. And as I just mentioned earlier, probably a little bit more consistency in his finishing. A lot of scouts praise him as being sort of like Isaac Rankin. I wouldn't quite say that. I think Rankin's more athletic than El-Achkar. El-Achkar's a bit more nuggety, but he does have that short-term speed. But I really like the fact that he just knows how to find the goals. And look, we're absolutely vital that we had a small forward. I was onto this a little while ago. I thought we need a small forward in this draft. It was always likely that Al-Achkar would probably be that one, and now it's transpired that way. So Hussein Al-Achkar is the Essendon pick number 53 And I imagine he can be a pretty deadly pairing down there with Isaac Kako. I look forward to seeing both El-Achkar and Kako tearing it up in that forward line, which will be a bit of a nightmare for opposition defenders. So let's talk about the fourth player that Essendon has picked up in the 2025 draft, intercepting defender, 190 centimetre, Max Kondogianis. He is of Greek-Australian heritage, as you could probably have guessed from the name. First thing I thought of when I heard that we had selected him was the Milwaukee Bucks player, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the great player known as the Greek Freak. I'm not sure Max will reach the heights of Giannis or make that kind of income, but anyway, we'll see how we go. So he's 190 centimetres. He's known as an intercepting defender. You can probably see from some of the highlights, a lot of his possessions are from reading the play. A lot of people have compared him to Jordan Ridley a little bit in terms of, Jordan Ridley is good at reading the play, and he's kind of best as a third defender, a third tall defender, rather than the two key defenders. Someone like Jordan, of course, is probably at his most powerful when you've got Mackay and Reid taking the two key positions. So Ridley can play that intercepting role, reading the play. That's kind of Max's game broadly. Like I said, you can't always compare two players to each other, but if you could compare him to another player on Essendon's list, that is really what we've done there. So it's interesting that we've picked up a key defender. It's not necessarily something we need next year, injuries permitting. We do have a number of good key defenders. We've got Mackay, we've got Ridley, we've got Zach Reid, and we've also got Lewis Hayes, who will be returning from that knee injury. But of course, there are question marks over the injuries we have in that position. There's question marks over Zach Reid with his injuries, there's always been question marks over Ridley. So this really isn't a selection for next year. This is really more of he may play, you just don't know, but this is more of a selection for down the track to shore up our key backs. And, we'll see how Max goes with that. So he's from the Oakley Chargers. He played for Vic Metro at the Under-18 National Championships. He's regarded as having poise under pressure. He's regarded as being able to read the game. He spoke to at least 16 of the AFL clubs, and he was kind of getting talked about a little bit more as the draft approached. He probably wasn't that well known a few months ago, but his name was popping up a little bit as the draft got a little bit closer. If you have a look at some of his key attributes, the main things that he's well known for are his aerial strength. He's got elite marking and leap. He reads the game. He positions himself early to intercept marks. He's regarded as being a pretty courageous type of player. He's got rebounding and run. He ran like the 20-metre sprint at the draft combine. He did that in under 3 seconds. Now, you might hear that and think, well, what does that mean? Well, anything under 3 seconds is really, really quick. I think 2.8 something is kind of the quickest that's been recorded on that. So that's really good. So he's got really good short-term speed, and he's got good endurance as well. He's a confident kicker. He's regarded as having a good football IQ and reads the game well. Like I said, kind of with those comparisons to Jordan Ridley. And I think that's smart. That's a good selection in that sense, because you want someone who understands the game. Essendon, we've always been criticised in the past of having, we play dumb football. I want, smart footballers who are naturally good. And it's something you can't really teach. Either you understand the game or you don't. Some players just understand the game. So Max is regarding as having a pretty good high football IQ, to coin a better phrase. He's versatile. He has played forward at school level, but he is more well known, and under his under 18s level, he's really projected more as a halfback interceptor. But someone of that height obviously has the ability to go forward, which he's done for his school. He's regarded as athletic. Areas that he can get better in. He probably at this stage, just as a young man, obviously lacks elite contested strength because he's got a much lighter build. He needs to get into the gym a little bit for that. He's not necessarily a dominant one-on-one lockdown defender, but he compensates that with team-oriented play. Once again, those comparisons with Ridley, not necessarily that lockdown defender, but really good at reading the play. Probably comparisons, you could probably make a comparison if I was to look at someone from another club to someone maybe like Jeremy Howe a little bit, in terms of his intercepting, maybe Charlie Ballard, someone like that from Gold Coast a little bit. I don't really like comparing players that much because no one's the same, but trying to, just paint the picture of what he can give to Essendon. And the Bombers have selected him. So, look, the Bombers have really regard him, I think, as an elite ball user and a high upside player. So he won't be playing much next year. There wouldn't be many positions, I would imagine, in the back line, and I would certainly hope that our key defenders who have had troubles with injuries will be over them. But he's certainly the type of player that will develop for a little while in the VFL. I wouldn't necessarily call him a project player. Our project player is really more of a speculative player. He's a player that would be expecting to play senior football over the course of his career, no doubt. But I would doubt he'll be playing much football next year. So there you go. Max Kondogianis. What do you guys think of him as a selection? Obviously, we weren't going to go for another midfielder, given that we picked up three midfielders already. So it's probably a sensible decision to pick up another different type of player, in this case a defender, especially given that Hussein Alchar will be an Essendon player and will be playing as that small forward, which we discussed earlier in this video. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. What do you think of the draft? We've got Max Kondogianis, Hussein Al-Achkar joining Essendon next year. Have a great day, everybody. And as always, go Bombers.